Video 2, Emotional Maturity. Dear children, you saw the first video and got some clues how to manage your emotions. In this video, we shall see who is emotionally mature person. You know, only one who has learned to manage his emotions well can become emotionally mature. It means emotional management leads to emotional maturity. Hence, let us go to the second topic of today. Let us begin with introduction. What is maturity? The word maturity literally means something that is fully grown or fully developed. A fruit we say is mature means fully ripe. Physical maturity means a fully physically grown adult. Intellectual maturity means a person who can speak and do things as a fully grown intellectual. The person is able to think, reason out and explain well. That is, person of mature intelligence. Moral maturity consists of making right options for moral deeds. Morally mature person refuses and denies to do something which is morally wrong. Sometimes it may entail sufferings and pain, but the person stands firm in his stand. Psychological maturity means a person who can react to problems and conflicts in life as a fully grown person without being emotionally upset. Emotional maturity means capacity of the person to handle and deal with the feelings and emotions in a balanced and rational way. He can face emotions and feelings and manage them without creating further psychological problems to his personality. Emotional maturity psychologically means capacity to respond to the environment in a particular context. The context can mean the circumstances and the culture of the society one lives in. An emotional mature person can take right decision appropriate to the situation. Second point, emotional maturity is observed through your behavior. When you are faced with a difficult situation, your level of emotional maturity is one of the biggest factors that accounts for coping with the situation. For example, someone has spoiled your good name by rumor. You are upset. How do you deal with yourself? How do you control your reactions? It all depends on the level of your maturity. Maturity is your mental capacity to react in a balanced way. Your reaction should be proportional to the situation, problem, conflicts, etc. For example, your exam result was very poor. You are upset. You just hide yourself. Do not appear in public. You may even cry, shed tears. All these responses are proportional. But in the case of mature person, all these should stop after 2 or 3 days or a week. If you go on for weeks and even months, all the time brooding over your result, it will be immature. At the same time, feeling nothing after bad result is also not mature. Another example, think that you got a result better than you expected. You passed with a distinction and a gold medal. You are so joyful and happy. You want others should congratulate you, greet you, praise you, etc. All this can be considered as proportional and mature reaction. But you go on celebrating and speaking only about your result for months together, then people get disgusted and consider you as immature, silly and self-centered, selfish, etc. Another example, a person's most beloved person dies due to heart failure within 15 minutes. It is a shocking and traumatic situation. The normal reactions of sorrow and shock should follow. But a mature person gets control over his emotions and thinks of others who need immediate attention, comes out of mourning and starts doing regular obligations and duties. An immature person may lose meaning in life because his beloved is no more. Therefore, emotional maturity refers to your ability to understand and manage your emotions. Third point, some signs of emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is observed from external signs. How people act, behave in different situations show how mature or immature they are. Let us see some signs of emotional maturity. A. Taking responsibility makes us emotionally mature. Emotional maturity means taking responsibility for our life and for all our duties and obligations. We need to learn to take responsibility for our mistakes, our emotions, our needs and our wants. And perhaps most importantly, for our feelings and response to things. Responsible person is reliable and trustworthy. Irresponsible person is immature person and unreliable. Next point, recognize and accept your own feelings and needs. Know your feelings and accept them as part of your life. Know your needs and express them in the right context. At the same time, too much preoccupation with your feelings and emotional needs as well as just ignoring them as not existing is immaturity. One who creates a balance between the two is a mature person. Next point, admit when you are wrong. To have courage to admit one's mistakes and failures is a strong sign of maturity. Not accepting the mistakes you have done is immaturity and dishonesty. Be accountable for your deeds. Blaming others for your mistakes or rejecting your mistakes is a sign of immaturity. Know well that to err is human, but to forgive is divine. Forgiveness is another sign of maturity. Next point will be set healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries means knowing what you can do and what you cannot do. When you set boundaries, you become a person of character. Maturity means putting limits and expressing clearly what you accept, what you permit and what you do not accept and do not permit. A mature person does not compromise character and good conduct. Third point, learning to pause between feeling and reacting. Emotions occur sometimes suddenly and unexpectedly, but a mature person knows to pause before reacting. He takes time to reflect and observe well before reacting. This is a sign of maturity. Next point, love, empathy and compassion are signs of maturity. Love should be manifested through empathy and compassion. Mature person develops a healthy relationship with oneself and with others. Healthy relationship teaches you how to respond to others with empathy and compassion. Next point will be ability to endure setbacks and to accept success and failures and defeats. To become mature, just stay calm and think more clearly during life's more difficult moments. Life is going to be full of problems. The whole process of meeting and solving problems is what gives life its deeper meaning. Understand that problems and difficulties are testing periods in your life, but they teach you how to become mature. Success and failures are to be accepted with a balanced mind. Failures are stepping stones to success. Accept your failures and mistakes and grow in life. Then you become mature. Next point, adaptability to changing situations of life. A mature person adapts himself to changing situations of life quickly. Immature person starts grumbling and complaining. Our life situation do not remain the same. They change and demand adjustments. One who can adjust well is a mature person. Next point, self-knowledge and self-confidence. A mature person knows himself. He is a person of self-knowledge, self-understanding and self-acceptance. He has accepted himself and so he can accept others and relate with others in a mature way. In a mature person, the self-confidence is high. He feels secure and safe in his life context, and hence he is courageous and bold to speak and act with the authority. He can make an impression on others and present himself as a leader and guide. Next point will be improving emotional maturity. In that first point, creating self-awareness. Self-awareness makes us recognize the emotions we experience. For example, anger, jealousy, frustration, etc. Many times when emotions overpower us, our mind does not work. We are carried away by emotions and feelings. In such situations, we lose control of our deeds. We do what we actually do not wish to do. Hence, the habit of bringing our feelings under the awareness and reflect over the mental condition under the influence of emotions help us to bring the emotions under the control of reason. Then we act rationally and humanly. This is maturity. Second point, do not react but respond. Often we react to emotions instinctively. This is because the emotions are not controlled by the conscious mind, which developed very late in the process of evaluation, but emotions are very primitive, present even in mammals developed as survival instinct. The animals instinctively know what is good and what is bad for their survival. For us, emotions have taught to react forcefully, run away, cry aloud or shout. We can say we have a biological hardware similar to animals and psychological software developed by the humans later in the process of evaluation. The former constitutes our instinctive behavior which makes us to react to our emotions. A response, however, demands the combination of both. But we can train our mind not to react but to respond. To respond, we have to bring in the psychological software, namely the reason which evaluates the situation and teaches to respond. This means we do not react in the heat of the moment, but we take a pause to create a reasonable response. The formula to remember is emotion, pause, response. Even 10 seconds of pause can totally transform a reaction into a response. This is regarding the sudden and unexpected triggering of emotions to which we generally react instinctively. Third point, create response through deliberation. Regarding the emotions which are not generated at the spur of the moment but which linger on with us and bother us, we need to consider first of all their origin. Jealousy, anxiety and guilt are good examples. The formula for the origin of these emotions is a combination of thoughts plus experience plus memory. All three are involved in the emergence of these emotions. Here we have time to formulate our response, but sometimes they are so complex that our psychological software finds itself inadequate to generate a response. As a result, we become helpless and indulge into wrong actions like the boy Prakash in the first video. If we can train ourselves to manage our emotions, then we can maturely handle our feelings and emotions. Please note the following points for this purpose. Third point, decoding of emotions means we identify the emotions. We look into ourselves to know what we are feeling, which emotions is really bothering us. There are four main types of emotions: anxiety, sadness, anger and happiness. The first one, anxiety, is generally related to future thoughts such as what if I fail, if I get defeated, etc. The second, sadness, which consists of negative thoughts of past events like trauma, accident, past illness, etc. The third, anger, generally occur when our values are attacked and our circumstance or commitments are questioned and criticized. The fourth, happiness, is a positive emotion that creates pleasant feelings of joy and fulfillment. As a first step, identify to which group your particular emotion belongs. Next point will be identification of the message. Then know that each feeling has a message. We need to identify it to create a proper response by asking the question, what am I afraid of in the case of anxiety? What have I lost in the case of sadness? How my values have been attacked or questioned regarding the anger? And what have I gained in the case of happiness? Next point will be create a response. Having identified the emotion and its message, we need to create a response to cope with the situation. The response can be specified by asking the question, Is there anything I can do to resolve the situation? This should help us to get into a concrete action. If you're not able to decide upon any action, then you need to take some external help like counseling or a therapy. As a conclusion, dear students, emotions can make our life beautiful, also shape our life in a wonderful manner. A person stimulated with emotions can work for long hours, attain his or her goals through hard and persistent work. Positive emotions motivate our activity. A student motivated to score high rank takes interest in the work, gets emotionally involved in the preparation for the exams, and puts up long hours of study. He can certainly attain his goal. So, dear children, God bless you all. Keep good health and come back to the school soon. We are ready to welcome you. Use your time meaningfully and fruitfully and spend the remaining days joyfully. God be with you till we meet again. Thank you very much.